Alright, hello everybody, and welcome back to Simon's Gaming Academy, formerly known as Simon's Order Academy. So this is the first battle report for Warmachine that I'll be doing. It's very much a test run, so I am open to any and all feedback. So please put a comment below and let me know what you want to see, what you don't want to see, what you want changed, all of that. So now we are just going through the pre-game kind of setup, where the scenario we're playing is trench warfare. So there is a flag closest to me, which I've put on a forest. There's a flag at the top left, which my opponent Jay put on a cloud effect. There is a 50 mil objective in the middle of the board on both sides. You can just see the one on top of the building at the top, and then the one down the bottom. So those are only capturable by cohort models and by warcasters. And then there are two caches in the kind of the center of the board, diagonally opposite each other. There's one that you can see next to the building, the red one on the left and the blue one on the right. And then there are two 40 mil objectives, one in the crater on the left and then one in the rubble on the right. So we are just going through deployment now. As you can see, I've got a unit of trenches up the top, battle group with Big Pig in the middle, another unit of Trencher Rangers down the bottom. Both unit of Trencher Rangers have a troll with them. That may be something that changes in the future, but as it stands right now, the trolls are staying in. And then I've got a unit of the Trencher Gun Mages that are just going on now. And I'm getting first turn in the scenario. Alright, so let's get into Gravediggers turn 1. So looking across my opponent's army, so Jay is running a unit of Cav, 2 units of the guys with 3-inch melee, who are quite annoying, and then basically support and battle group after that. And when I'm looking across the board at that tricky, I basically don't have an answer for it. So what I'm going to try and do during this game is dance around that middle piece of terrain, the building that can't be removed, and I'm going to try and kind of limit where his Tricky is able to go. So Big Pig hurts himself for a couple of wounds, moves up the board, positions himself so if there's anything kind of that is coming at him from that angle, that he can put shots down range. Now, he is basically the only answer to stealth that I have in this list. He's got true sight, so he can see through stealth, and Jay's battle group basically will all be, except for the Tricky, will all be stealth for the majority of this game. So that's what we are doing with Big Pig. We're putting him up there to threaten things. We're then moving the trenches up and moving one of the Valiants up to the right hand side. So the Valiant is supporting the trenches, who are hoping to eventually push on to that flag objective, and the Valiant is hoping, if he doesn't allocate too many resources over this side, to push on to that cohort objective there. Gun Mages move around and do stuff. The other Valiant moves up, again, just to threaten if he brings his pieces up too far. And because his battle group is stealthed, obviously the harpoons that are on those Valiants won't be doing much except for dragging in infantry models. And as you can see, that we both have defenses, and so positioning is going to be interesting. So we move on to Jay's first turn. So I've only taken, 8 minutes for deployment plus turn 1, which I'm okay with. He is... I was kind of thinking during the game, like, what is he doing here? Like, why is he afraid of Big Pig shooting at the Tricky? Like, surely that's not actually an issue, and he's not that worried about the Tricky being attacked. But turns out that may be the case, and so his Colossal is being kind of threatened by my Pig. I haven't played this matchup before. Maybe he's had a previous experience where the Pig has done significant damage to the Tricky and it's cost him a game or something. But yeah, I was quite confused as to why he was worried about where Pig was and what the Pig could do. And so we're just talking out rules here at the moment. So he's going to start moving his things up top left. Oh, sorry, Warcast goes into crater to begin with, which is significant. And then again, we're just talking about threat ranges here essentially, which is pretty key for what you do. So he moves up. I think they're called Lashers. I'm just checking my war room to confirm exactly what they're called, but I think they're called Lashers. And they've got melee guys that have 2 weapons and 3-inch reach, so they can threaten quite a bit. And he puts up one cavalry model behind that wall and the 2 infantry. So the decision essentially that I have to make, I've got military engineering because I'm Gravediggers, is which wall I'm going to explode. And so there's really 2 options. There's this one that's kind of in the middle of the screen, which in a second a few of his infantry are going to run up and hide behind. And then at the top of the board, there's the wall which one of the cavalry models and 2 of the infantry models are hiding behind. And so generally my thought here is that I'm probably going to blow the one at the top because you'll see what happens here. They've got the extended command range thing, I guess. They move up behind the wall, and essentially I can be destroying this wall in the middle, or I can be destroying to get 1 infantry, or I can be destroying the wall at the top to get 3 infantry. And so eventually that's what I will do. Okay, so we're looking at threat ranges here again. So I know that I can't out-threaten the Tricky. He's got Hunter's Mark on a stick, which is going to make it difficult for me to do anything, really, without getting charged by one of his war beasts. And so what I'm going to be doing here is dancing around this middle building as previously discussed. And then again, the idea down the bottom is that I move up, I put some CRA shots into that Def 18 Lasher, take him off, and then he doesn't have anything to charge with, essentially, is what I was thinking of doing. We will come around to what actually happens very soon. Because turns out that the Trencher machine gunners have volume fire, and I forgot it for this game. This is my 3rd or 4th game with Gravediggers, so there's errors are made. But the big one here, which you'll see against both the Lashers at the top. Oh, so there you go. So I've just sappered that. No, sorry, military engineering to the wall at the top. We move the trenches up so that one of them's contesting the 50 mil, so that he has to remove them if he wants to control it. And then within range 12 of models, and so you can see that the Trollkin now takes a shot at the Def 11 cavalry model, pushes him back 2 inches, which is pretty good. Essentially just putting him out of position, because my intent is I'm going to be killing this one in the middle, and basically causing him to, again, put him out of threat range so he doesn't have any charged targets. So then they have a couple of shots into the unit with some CRAs, and as you will soon see. So I removed that one with a hard roll, which is, I think it was at straight dice, so I roll a straight 8. And then this next one was at straight dice again, I think, and I roll a 7 without volume fire. What I should have done 8 damage, and that Lasher should have been dead. And so that will actually snowball in this game, as you'll see as the game plays out. So next what we do is that I'm putting down a fuel crate so that I can get my Valiant in range of that cavalry model, and then I go, hang on, Buck's got escort up. If I move that guy 2 inches to the top towards the right side of the table, that I'm not going to actually have him still starting within the control range, so he won't get the +2 speed from escort, and therefore he won't be within range to harpoon the cavalry model, which is what I'm intending on doing. So I then fart ass around and try and figure out where I'm going to put Buck, and I'm like, I could put down a wall, but the Tricky just runs over the wall and destroys it, so it's kind of irrelevant. I'm already in cover because I'm around the 40 mil objective that provides cover in this scenario. So there's really nowhere for the rock wall to go, and honestly, that was another mistake that I probably made in this game, is that I chose rock wall when he's got a model that can essentially just ignore rock wall and just cancel out that spell completely. So I wasn't actually aware before this game that you could run over a magical rock wall and destroy it with a colossal. So that's a learning lesson for next time. So we move Buck over. At this time, the Valiant on the right hand side has Silence of Death on him, and so basically I look at where I intend the Valiant to end up. I put the rock wall down there. Again, the Tricky can probably just go over it to get rid of the rock wall, but the infantry can't ignore that rock wall. So then I do the play that I was meant to do the first time. So we fuel crate the Valiant. The Valiant moves up to within 10 inches of that cavalry model. So I'm just going to figure out what the actual name of the cavalry models are now. Incarnate Knight is what he is. So he will be Def 11 armor 20, so I'm going to boost the hit and boost the damage on this one. No, sorry, not boost the hit, but I boost the damage. Because it's power 12 against armor 20, so I need a 9, which is not, I might not have hit that, but I did in this instance. And then I just buy some attacks and kill it. So now, as you can see, the two other Incarnate Knights are out of basically any threat range whatsoever, so I'm not concerned about them. And if that the top Lasher was dead, I would be in a much better position than I am at the moment. And you'll see that compounded in the next turn. Beaker moves up just into the forest. I was going to put him behind the wall, but that would have given the Tricky an actual charge target. And then we come to Big Pig. Basically, I say, well, you can't see the Big Pig with Tricky. And so we're in a relatively safe position there with the Pig. To kind of react next turn, he can, where he's positioned, he can go for the cache. So he's contesting my cache there, so he can't just walk up and trigger it for an extra 2 points. But he can walk to the left to support the trenches if they need it. He can walk to the right to support the models on the right. So like I'm pretty happy with the position of the Big Pig where he is there. And then Carver just moves up to be within like 8 inches of the Pig, and basically his where he is he's able to push beyond those 2 walls if I need to. So I think I've got enough support on the left given what Jay has put against a raid against me, because I think I can probably, with Carver and the trenches, I can probably support myself enough on this side to take to move most of my stuff to the right. So the other Valiant runs over to the top side. Now we move these guys up here, the trenches, so that they are contesting the objective, so he has to do something rather than just automatically get it. We then leave 2 models in the forest, so we've got one of the guys who's just not contributing to the shooting because he's not within 12, and then we've got the Trollkin Express Sniper who has range essentially. And so what I'm trying to do is basically roll a hard 7 on that one behind the wall. With the Trollkin Express Sniper, and then the machine gunners are going to try and have a go at that Lasher as well. And that's the mini feat. Those are my dig-in tokens going down. So the CRAs, again, I forget Volume Fire, because these guys are on medium basis, so I'm getting +1s. And so essentially I miss the attacks that should be at power 15, so I should be taking off a Lasher essentially with a Trencher. And because I forget the +1 to hit, I don't kill that one Lasher behind the wall, and that's actually quite significant. So I forget Volume Fire on the top and don't kill a Lasher, and I forget Volume Fire on the bottom and don't kill a Lasher. So future reference, I don't ever forget Volume Fire on the machine guns ever again. So what's happening here is that one Lasher that I didn't kill, he is now, since he's alive, and the other one was behind the wall, behind the cloud, so he wouldn't have had line of sight to charge, so I would have been in such a good position here if I just killed that one Lasher. But what happens now is that this one's able to charge and drag his buddy into combat, basically, and they get to waltz their way through all the trenches at the top there. Yep. And this, so you can see me pointing, and I was like, at this point, this is where I remembered that I had Volume Fire. So again, nobody has line of sight to Big Pig, which is good, because it means that he is safe behind that wall, and Jay doesn't know, because I've got the options of going up to the top or down to the bottom, Jay doesn't know which way he's going to go. And then I'm just saying, Beaker, what Beaker does, what his armor is, and what his defense is in that forest if he wants to try and reach out and touch him. And the ammo crate, people still don't know, even though Gravediggers have kind of been out for a while now, people are still a bit iffy on what exactly all the different crates do. There we go. So this is quite painful, because I didn't kill that single Lasher. He's gonna Pac-Man his way through all my trenches. And so, yeah, again, we're discussing, general tactics, which way he's going to go. If he sends the Tricky to the left, I can pivot to if he sends the Tricky to his left, then I can pivot to my left and kind of push towards that side. And that was kind of what I was hoping to do, because I've got the flag on that side. if I can get rid of these 3 lashes and whatever incidental war beast he sends my way, then I can, score the flag and the objectives, because I can drop a blocker on that objective at the bottom, and I don't think Jay realised that, but this is one of the things that I actually quite like to do with the with the heavy airdrops, is just basically you push your infantry unit towards an objective, you shoot stuff off it that they didn't think you could claim with, and then you drop a blocker, and then all of a sudden you've got a model to contest the objective, to control the objective and score points. And so you'll see that's eventually what I do down the line. And then Jay's just discussing what he wants to do. He's got a lot of support behind that Tricky, and then he's just like, all right, let's just get into it and let's do something. So 1 Lasher goes in, he'll be hitting over a wall, which is not fun times for him, because the Valiant's def 14 and the trenches are def 15. So the Lashers have gang, so they go to mat 8. So like he still needs 7s to hit, which is not nothing. And he misses a couple of them, and does some damage to a couple of them. I think I roll tough on 1 or 2. But he just starts punching through all my guys over on that side, who, if I had remembered Void Fire and killed that Lash up, then we wouldn't have had an issue. So then he repositions, so he's engaging the Valiant and all the trenches for behind and in the front. So if I want to do something, I'm going to need to clear them off. He then moves his 2 models into the 2 Knights into the cloud at the top, which they both get concealment because they can just fit, so they go to def 18. It doesn't really matter too much, but he just, he gets that the flag objective. So now we go to the next schmozzle down the bottom, and so essentially where 1 guy charges, 1 guy moves up. He forgets to move the 3rd Lasher at the bottom, and because I was so good with not trying to roll back with volume fire and everything, Jay just basically said, you'll see when he finds out, but basically he realizes that he's misplayed, and he rolls it out anyway and finds out that he wouldn't have killed the guys contesting the objective anyway, so it doesn't actually matter in the grand scheme of things. But he rolls incredibly poorly here, and like doesn't do enough to kill my trenches. But then repositions into the forest to contest it, so I don't score that point. And now he realizes that extra guy's there, so he just moves him up. And I'm like, yeah, that's fine, whatever. So now we've got 2 trenches that are contesting that 50 mil at the bottom, and so he definitely can't claim it this turn. So he runs someone there anyway, just so I have to do something about him. And I've got 3 Lashes that I need to clear off, essentially, that are completely at full health, which is going to be difficult for a unit of trenches to do. Which is my big complaint about trenches, is that there is no kind of strong melee option. I really wish I hope in the future they make like I don't know, like even an Ogre or a Trollkin kind of melee unit. I think that could be cool. I think it could be thematic, and it would kind of fill a hole that's left in this army. But again, with all the buffs, it might even be too strong. But yeah, trenches not that great at clearing stuff off. So the War Beast is sitting on there. He's the War Beast that gives stealth, and so now that you'll see eventually, Joe will realize that he's essentially out of area and they can't see him. So he moves the Tricky over, puts some shots into Big Pig, essentially. Doesn't do a whole lot, does a little bit of damage, misses a couple of attacks, and that's about it. God, I need to start remembering the names of all these things if I'm going to do videos. I'm going to say Shadowmancers move up, and they take the Fury off the Tricky, so he's essentially doesn't have any Fury left. This thing that has like 3 heads, I think it's the Skylla, that's what it's called, moves up again, takes some shots at Big Pig, doesn't do a whole lot. He can't clear his own cache, and so yeah, he's just going to move up, and then this solo is going to Geomancy something. I can't actually remember what it was, I'm sorry. It's been a few weeks since this game. I've been in and out of editing this and using different programs, just because this is the first one. I've just been trying to get through all this stuff. And then we talk about where this model is going. Now, this guy is my least favorite model, I think, in the entire game. The Wraithwing Paragon. He really frustrates me because I'm a shooting army. Anyway, he moves up. So at this turn, basically we're saying that the flag is contested at the bottom, the 50 mils objective is contested. Nothing is. He scores, I think, 1 up the top, 2 in the middle, 1 in the top, 2 in the middle, I think, and I score 1 at the bottom. 1 in the middle for the 40 mil, and then nothing else essentially. And then we go on to my turn. So just discussing threat Rangers, I'm saying that I have to get rid of that that War Beast. My plan to get rid of that War Beast that's sitting on the 50 mil at the bottom is actually just to push it off with the Trencher Express Gunner. And we're seeing if Big Pig moving 6 can be within 3 inches of that objective, which can't, which is sad times. So just looking at where Big Pig's going to go is probably a big part of my plan for this turn. I know that the trenches aren't going to be able to clear off guys themselves, so Carver's probably going to have to do some work on this bottom side in melee, but the good thing is that Carver's actually quite good at that. And because his shooting is pretty average, I can have the opportunity to kind of sacrifice Batten in this situation and not be too sad about it. So we're getting our proxies, which is always good. And so I'm making sure I do the 1 inch into that guy, the 2 inch into the guy over the wall, because if I get a crit pitch on this first stack, I'll throw the guy into the wall and do some extra damage. So Carver goes to work, basically. Yep. So I'm just making sure that I got my 2 inch range, 2 inch reach on the top guy, just so I can do work. So Carver goes in, kills that first guy with the charge attack. I spray through here, and even though my trencher guy is def 17, of course I hit him, because of course I hit him, and so I hit him and he takes some boxes of damage, which is how it always works with this shit. And then I put a couple of boxes on the other guy. There you go, you see me put some damage there. So I boost on his guy, I hit him, I boost damage, remove him, and I think I'm sitting on maybe 1 transfer or maybe 2, I can't remember. So then the question is, how do I clear off this bottom objective? I've got 1 lasher to go. The units that I've got there are actually pretty good at doing stuff. So, but what we are actually going to do is try and clear it off with Argo. So he goes to rat. I think he goes to rat 8. Is he 7 goes to 8 or maybe 6 goes to... No, he's 6 goes to 7, sorry. And look, that thing in combat is def 18, and I'm like, oh, you know, I can hard roll an 11 on 3 dice. Turns out I can't, so it's fine. So then I'm like, okay, how am I going to get rid of this lasher? Because this lasher, although he's not contesting the flag objective anymore, he is tying up all of my trenches who I want to move up the board. And so we're going to move Big Pig up 4 inches, and then he's going to be 10 inches within that lasher. And so he's going to have a go at the lasher. So Big Pig goes to rat 7. Pig can boost though, that's the big thing. And so I'm needing 11s on the dice, and so I get to remove that guy. Good, my trenches are cleared up, right? And then he puts the rest of the shots into Scylla. And he does not insignificant amounts of damage, because I'm within 5 inches now. But, you know, not massive amounts of damage because this because Scylla has excessive healing up. And so every shot that I'm doing, even though I'm doing good damage, he's healing another few. And yeah, Big Pig does work. And that's really good. And so here I make a mistake. So on watching this video on review, I'm like, okay, so essentially what am I going to do here? I think what I should have done is, because I've got those 3 guys out front, I think what I should have done is aimed and with everybody and shot at that guy, and just put some incidental damage on him, and basically just stayed in the zone at the bottom, and I would have scored an extra point. But the issue arose essentially that I moved them all out because, I don't know, I honestly don't know why. I probably didn't need to get a blocker onto that objective within 3 inches. But the express gun hits, I push him off, I brain damage him, I grievous him, and then the rest of the guys have a few shots into him, and just puts him incidental damage, and then as you can see, the blocker comes down. So, the blocker is now in between the unit of trenches and whatever that thing's called. Is it a Vypex? I think it's a Vypex. And so I'm scoring this bottom objective, but what I have forgotten in the midst of all that is that I am now no longer scoring the flag, which is significant, because that is an objective that's going to be difficult to contest, and so if I've got an extra guy in that objective zone, like I'm in such a good spot, it's not funny. So then we pivot to the top side, so we've got 2 Lashers that are in combat, so Beaker goes and kills one, we spray through, as you can see here, get out the laser, spray through everyone else. I think I hit another one of my friendly models again, which is always how it works, just so I can clear off all the Lashers, because the Lashers are really annoying me. And I think the one that's over the wall there, I think that one was contesting the 50 mil. Right, and then so now I walk the Valiant up, put a Harpoon into this guy, boost the hit, boost the damage. That guy's got, he's fully focused. Kill this Cav model quite comfortably, and then I've got focus to spare and basically nothing to do with it, so that guy just sits on the objective. And then there's one cavalry model left in the cloud at the top, and I, thinking that I'm smart. Oh yeah, this is another mistake that I make. Basically, I drop a blocker down here off the Valiant, which you can't do because you have to drop it off a unit that has Jack Marshall. So instead of probably what I should have done here, so Buck and the Valiant move around basically just to get stuff within control range and just stay out of the threat range of the Tricky. And then I'm like, I don't need to be within 14 with this Valiant of the Tricky. And as you'll see, there's a bit of shuffling here. So I put Silence of Death through Beaker onto the trenches at the top. And basically go, okay, I've got, I think it's 4 guys, and I think it's only the guys with the trench blades. So they're mat 6, he's def 11. These guys on the charge are power 14, 12, 14. Yeah, I think they're 14 because I wasn't able to give them Stir the Blood from Argo because I tried to move him down south, which is also, again, probably another mistake. I probably should have moved to the top and given the trenches. I don't know if I was in range, but give them Stir the Blood. But essentially what they're doing is we've got a guy that's got 10 wounds and mat 6, power 14s, dice -6. I have with charges, and I'm fairly comfortable that I should probably kill that cavalry model. The guys go in and I don't. And so I don't score that point. So if I did things correctly this turn, I probably should have scored 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And in the end, I end up scoring 3. And then Jay scores 1 for his 40 mil objective in the middle. And so I'm not too happy with how that turn went, essentially. Because I thought that I should have gotten the flag at the top. Your opponent's flag is worth 2 in Trench Warfare. And so, also, sorry, maybe I would have scored 6 then. Oh, yeah. And because of my error, I think I realized soon that I cheated with the blocker. Because he's not... I haven't put him on the correct model, essentially. And so you'll see that I move him fairly shortly. What I think I probably should have done was just put the blocker down after I'd charged, put him in that cloud, and then have him beating on the cavalry as well, potentially. There you go. So I realized there, and I just go, oh, that's fine. Look, I'll just put the blocker down before the trenches move, essentially. And so this way, to get control at 50, the Tricky's got to kill both the Valiant and a blocker, and he's only Fury 4. He probably doesn't have enough gas to do that. So I'm a bit frustrated at this point because I think I should be in a significantly better position on scenario, and just because of a couple misplays, I am not there at this point in time. I'm winning, but not by a strong enough margin, and I don't think he'll be able to clear me off the bottom objective because he just doesn't really have enough models in the vicinity. And I'm also thinking that he probably can't clear me off the 50 at the top because he doesn't have enough things to kind of do enough damage. And so I'm actually, at this point in time, pretty happy with where I'm at and how I'm going on scenario, even though I should probably be 2 or 3 points up from here if I play things properly. So we're discussing threat ranges, we're discussing what warjacks do, and so we're discussing where the trick is going to go, essentially, is the other thing. So the Vypex casts, I think it's Hunter's Mark on Big Pig, and then he charges. Or walks, maybe just walked. Anyway, takes a couple of punches into the blocker, does a bit of damage. Just like chip damage, like doesn't really matter. Doesn't take out any systems, doesn't do anything special. So now Shyryss, no, not Shyryss, what's this thing's called? Skylla. Charges Big Pig, does some damage. Big Pig's taken a bit of damage in previous turns from shooting from the Tricky, from me damaging it for full bore, and then Skylla does a lot of damage in this activation here, and I wasn't actually expecting Big Pig to die, but he bites the dust. And bam. Maybe it wasn't that one. Anyway, Big Pig dies. End of story. Big Pig is sad. So Carver goes back to full. Carver with 5 Fury is actually still pretty strong. So there's nothing, like, I'm not overly worried. I think Big Pig probably didn't do enough. I thought maybe he would have killed Skylla with his shots the previous turn, but I did put one of the shots into the Lasher that was in combat, where the Lasher shouldn't have been in combat. So I think that if I played it correctly and I kill that Lasher behind the wall, he doesn't get to charge me, then I've got an extra shot and an extra Fury essentially to shoot Skylla instead. You live and you learn. So Shyryss is just sitting around that middle objective, not doing a whole lot. I think I've probably missed when Shyryss feeded. I think she feeded like first or second turn. I think it was the previous turn when Big Pig moved into the middle. So it's not this turn. So it was actually turn 2 that Scylla feated. Now we're looking at the Tricky. So he's going in there, trying to stay out of. We measured like staying out of 1 inch of the Trollkin Express Sniper and 2 inches of the trenches, so that when he did do range attacks, he could put them into combat with the things that he wanted to. So he does a bit of damage to the Valiant here and removes him from the table. And another thing that happened this turn, which you probably saw 30 seconds ago, was that Jay moved up and claimed my cache because there was nothing contesting it. So we're just looking, so I've got that fuel cache sitting there, and the Tricky has, so he's done his melee attacks, he's left the Valiant on 2. He's got the ability to shoot the cache, and so now he puts the attack into the Valiant to kill it, so that he can now shoot his AoE attack into the fuel cache that's at the back. Yeah, so he just crit freezes, crit stationaries Beaker, which is inconsequential, really. And then he puts his AoE shot into the ammo cache, the fuel crate. It's AoE 3, so all of them are within range. So he kills the cache, so he gets all of them except he doesn't break armor on the guy at the top, the one gun mage that's left now, who will now be a contesting bot, essentially. And then he starts putting further bort attacks into the blocker in an attempt to get it off the objective, which he's unable to do. And so we go. So we score essentially one each. So we each score our 40s, and then that's it. And now I'm like, okay, so Scylla's only on like 10 or something. So it's time for this Valiant to actually get out of the way, or get out of babysitting Buck and actually come in and try and kill Skylla. Alright, so I can move 5 inches with escort up through the rubble. So I move 5, I drop another fuel crate, move another 2 inches so that he's actually within range, get the Harpoon into Skylla, boost the hit, boost damage, drag him in. He's got like a couple of boxes left, and so this guy quite trivially removes him. And then I'm checking that no one else is able to stop me from killing that. Oh, that's right. He doesn't actually. He leaves Skylla on a couple of points because of some good healing. So really, what I wanted to do with Carver was get him into that the Vypex at the bottom. But instead, I'm like, all right, well, I don't think Buck is actually getting to that guy because he's only got a 1-inch reach. So Carver goes in, punch, kills that thing. Carver takes down Skylla. GG. For that very small battle. And I'm buying over the wall, so he's def 14 over the wall. I'm just trying to hard roll 7s and then boost damage. And then eventually, when I've got 2 figures left, Fury left, I'm just like, oh shit, I better boost this one. So I boost hit, boost damage, and then that's it. Skylla gets taken off the table, right? So the good news with that is that there's now not really a whole lot that he's got force projecting into the center. I've scored his cash, which takes me up to 7 points with Argo walking up there and doing it. But again, I'm still not contesting this thing at the bottom, which is 3 points, essentially. So then at the top, Beaker just unfreezes himself and walks up, and then we try and put Buck in a position where he can threat. So he's got a reloadable hand cannon, so he just puts 2 shots into whatever that war beast is and does some trivial damage. Goes again. And then we're just like, all right, let's do some activating. So I move the blocker around behind that wall so that he gets some extra defense if his caster decides to try and charge him. The blocker at power 12 isn't doing a whole lot, but I'm not rolling a whole, very high damage rolls anyway. So then I think what I should have done here is that I should have walked these trenches back to contest that forest and score that point and shoot this thing. But instead what I decided to do is move them up and try and kill it with power 10s. Which is, Vypexes. They're only armor 16, so I should be doing a fair amount of... I think I should be doing a reasonable amount of damage, but I don't. I don't do anything. So, and then the trenches at the top with with Silence of Death, still try and kill that Cav model. Don't succeed in killing the Cav model, so I'm like, okay, this is all we're at. So we're getting close to the end of the game here. So Josh comes over and says we're almost at dice down. I'm currently winning, 8-6 at the moment. And I think I'm in a fairly strong position down the bottom because if I'm able to remove that the Vypex and move guys onto the flag and cap my 40 and contest his, I think I'm in a really good position. But then this thing comes in. What's this one? Is this? No, it's someone. I can't remember what they're called. This thing comes in and automatically hits and does some damage. Argo gets taken off the table fairly trivially, which is annoying because it was going to be one of the ones that I was going to run down to the bottom. And then basically the Tricky is going to start making some attacks. So I've put the blocker where I put it, just so it kind of gets in the way of the Tricky and doesn't allow it to move much further up the board. So the Paragon charges again into the blocker, does some trivial damage, and then the Tricky actually starts to put attacks into the blocker, trivially removes it, starts putting some attacks into Beaker, and then we get dice down called. So at this point it's 8-6. Josh says you score the scenario as is at the moment. So, I mean, Jay's finishing off his attacks with this tricky here, but essentially, yeah, it comes to dice down. I feel like because I had so many misplays with how I played the flag at the bottom, how I played the positioning of my models at the bottom, how I didn't kill the guy at the top, I'm just basically got the shits at this point. And I say to Jay, hey, look, I think I am going to concede this game. And even though I'm winning 8-9 at this point, I feel I should be up by another 2 or 3 points. And so I'm like, no, you know what? I'll give it to Jay. And Jay can continue to finish the game. Play out the tournament a little bit better. Like we're in the 0-1 bracket at this point in time. We'd both already lost a game, but I just had the shits, and so I was just like, no, I'll just concede here because I think if he gets to play out his whole turn, he gets to control that top objective. He probably kills some trenches, and I think he's overall in a much better position than me. And that's where we call it. So thanks everybody for watching the battle report. I hope that it has helped you learn a bit about the game and a bit about Gravediggers. Every single game I am learning different things that I can do with Gravediggers, and it's a really fun learning experience. And there will be another battle report. I'm going to be recording another couple of battle reports on the weekend, and then eventually, get around to uploading them and editing them and recording voiceovers. So if you want to see this kind of content, please let me know. All right, until next time, thanks very much.